For my screencast for my research project, I decided to create a Google SlideShare, and my research topic was professional development for a one-to-one environment at Immaculate Conception St. Joseph's School. My research question was, what kind of technology support or professional development do the teachers at Immaculate Conception St. Joseph need to successfully integrate technology and implement a one-to-one program? My methodology included the participants, methods, and instruments that I used. So the participants in this research project were the teachers at Immaculate Conception, students, IT staff of ICSJ, and another participant was a technology coordinator at another Catholic school. The methods that I used for this study were both qualitative and quantitative data, including interviews, surveys, and observations. The instruments that I used can be found here, which I'm clicking on. And I had ID department interview questions located here. I had teacher interview instruments located here, and the technology coordinator interview instruments located here as well. So the summary of my data at Immaculate Conception St. Joseph's, teachers were asked what would be, one of the main questions I asked them was what would be the most beneficial for them to support them in integrating technology into their classrooms in a transition of one-to-one devices. The response that I got from those teachers were that most teachers felt comfortable observing another teacher using technology, including in a lesson, and other teachers also mentioned meeting one-on-one with like a technology integration specialist to create technology integration plans would also be very beneficial for them. At Immaculate Conception St. Joseph, teachers were asked how they currently integrated technology into their classrooms. So most of them said that they use teacher and student use of the smart board the most often. The next said that they use QR codes in the classroom, and they also use applications on the iPads during learning centers. 60% of the teachers use applications that allow students to create different sort of writing projects. So I was able to determine that the technology is available and teachers are using it. Some of it's being implemented and some of it may be just being used and not necessarily integrated in a meaningful and purposeful way. So the results from that were most teachers and students use QR codes and apps at centers. Then was the writing piece. Most other common uses, like I mentioned, were the smart board. Some teachers and grade levels used a flipped classroom approach with technology. Some classrooms use student blogs. Some classrooms create movies. So these results allowed me to determine what kind of things teachers are using and if they're actually being implemented. Then I was able to look at these results and see what would be helpful, what kind of professional development would be helpful for the teachers to start integrating technology in a meaningful way. So the rest of the results, I'm going to click here, which brings you to the summary of my results. And so first, I asked the questions of the grade level, the basic iPad and computer knowledge. Teachers were asked to pick 3 applications that they would like to focus on next year. Most of them said Educations, iMovie, Explain Everything, Raz Kids. I found a few common threads, so I was able to conclude and determine that next year we're really going to be focusing on just a few applications that can be used across all grade levels and all subject areas to make the integration of technology more meaningful for the teachers and for the students. In addition to the survey, there were also some other questions I was just wanting to figure out and know, so those are included here. Some teachers also were asked about the flipped classroom, and here's how they integrated technology currently into their classroom. Then teachers also had to open end and responded to what was the most challenging thing for them with technology integration. And I found that the most challenging thing was the limited number of iPads that they had available and how to effectively integrate and manage them in the classroom with such a small use. Most teachers felt comfortable using the smartboard in lessons. Some people felt comfortable using PowerPoints and various websites on the smartboard. Teachers also responded that most of them would love some ideas on how to create lessons with technology, and I think also that I concluded in my observations and interviews as well was giving teachers an opportunity to sit with their grade level team and talk about technology. So I think that would be really beneficial for them as well. Here's the rest of my survey results. Some of it included integrating technology. Others was what was most beneficial. And now let's go back to the presentation. So those were the results. So the summary that I concluded of my data analysis was that teachers have a basic knowledge of iPads and computers. Teachers use technology in a few different ways, such as QR codes, using the smartboard, and basic iPad applications. So I'm found that most teachers are just using technology and it's not being integrated on a daily basis in a meaningful way. I also concluded that having the opportunity to observe other teachers teaching a lesson with technology would be beneficial for teachers, and as well as sharing ideas and creating plans with their grade level teams, and also a technology integration specialist would be helpful. So I concluded that from my research and data gathering and interviews and surveys that there are a few different types of professional development that would really best support the teachers at ICSJ, and that would be some topics include managing and integrating technology with a limited number of iPads, using a few different applications like I mentioned across grade levels and subject areas. So instead of giving them a list of a bunch of applications, focusing on a few different ways of how to use those in a real meaningful way. How to use and creating ideas of integrating technology with the students so that they're able to create, collaborate with each other, and share with others outside of their classroom community. Also, I gathered that teachers also want to know how to use technology for formative and summative assessments, and also how to access those smartboard resources and find lesson plans and different lesson ideas for the smartboard. And also, in addition to the specific focused professional development, I thought that it would be helpful to have some how-to lunches where I teach teachers specific technologies. So maybe during my lunch period, I would have the opportunity for whoever wanted to learn to how to create a QR code, or how to use Twitter in your classroom, or how to use Reflector, or how to use the Apple TV, or how to use those things that don't require a whole professional development amount of time, but they're still be beneficial for teachers. So I think providing that opportunity would be also very great for them. This is the end of my presentation. I had an amazing time researching and discovering what types of professional development would be most helpful for the teachers at my school as I transition it into a different role next year of the technology integration specialist while I'm still teaching first grade. So it's going to be a busy year, but I can say that everything in this program has really prepared me in a way to support the teachers at my school next year, as well as this research project. So I look forward to doing that. Thanks for listening and have a great summer.